The function of hormones is to alter the cell function. Under hormones you have water soluble hormones and lipid soluble hormones. Lipid soluble hormones I have already uploaded. Today we are going to see about the mechanism of action of water soluble hormones. So examples of water soluble hormones are all hypothalamic releasing and inhibiting hormones. So these hormones, water soluble hormones released from the pituitary gland, they travel in the bloodstream and they reach the target cell. This is the target cell. So water soluble hormones are lipophobic, that is they do not mix with lipids, but plasma membrane is made up of lipids. So now the water soluble hormones has to enter the cell to carry out the cellular function, but they cannot diffuse through the plasma membrane. Water soluble hormones are lipophobic, so they cannot diffuse through the plasma membrane. Now the water soluble hormone has to transfer the message to a messenger and then it has to carry out the cellular function. So we'll see the first step. The water soluble hormone reaches the interstitial fluid. It binds to the receptors which are present in the plasma membrane. They are also called as external receptors because these receptors, the pink color representation is the receptor and green one is the hormone. So these receptors will be protruding into the interstitial fluid from the plasma membrane. So they are called as external receptors, or you can say it as membrane receptors because they are present in the plasma membrane. And what are these receptors? They are the integral proteins present in the plasma membrane. So you can say these receptors as membrane receptors, external receptors, or integral proteins of the plasma membrane. And these are the first messengers. They carry the information from once the hormone binds to the membrane receptors, the receptors will get activated and they receive the message. So these are the first messengers. So when the first messengers get activated, it activates the G protein which is present close to the plasma membrane. This is a type of membrane protein. So binding to membrane receptors activates the membrane G protein. This is the second step. And third step is this G protein will activate an enzyme called adenylate cyclase which is present in the cytoplasm. These two steps will take in plasma membrane. The third step, activating the adenylate cyclase, will happen in cytosol. So once this adenylate cyclase enzyme get activated, it converts ATP to cyclic AMP. This is the important step because cyclic AMP is the second messenger which is going to carry out the cellular function. First messenger is the membrane receptor. This gets activated, then the G protein gets activated, then the activated G protein will activate adenylate cyclase, the enzyme present in the cytoplasm. This adenylate cyclase will convert ATP to cyclic AMP. This is the important second messenger which will activate protein kinases. Protein kinases are also enzymes. So what is the function of protein kinase? It will add a phosphate group to proteins. There will be proteins present inside the cell. This activated protein kinases will add from the ATP, it will get phosphate group and it will add to the proteins. When millions of these proteins are phosphorylated, the enzymes are formed and the enzyme will act as a catalyst to carry out the physiological response. So this is the representation of the mechanism of water soluble hormone. Now we'll see it in the steps. Water soluble hormone binds to the plasma membrane receptors. They are the integral proteins. These activated first messengers activates membrane G protein which is present in the plasma membrane, and this activated protein will activate adenylate cyclase, an enzyme present in the cytoplasm. This converts ATP to cyclic AMP. The second messenger is formed, and this activated cyclic AMP will activate protein kinase, an enzyme which phosphorylates the proteins present inside the cell. This is an important step. This protein kinase acts as the on-off switch, that is it can speed up the reaction or it can slow down the reaction. The enzymes which formed acts as a catalyst for various reactions and the physiological responses are carried out. That is, a cell can synthesize protein or degrade. One important MCQ question is, other examples of second messengers are cyclic AMP, 3,5 adenosine monophosphate, guanosine monophosphate, calcium, diazyl glycerol and inositol triphosphate.